Hello everyone, it's your girl Asia from Lone Range Fangirl channel. Welcome back to my channel. I know I've been a little MIA. I've just been taking care of some business, but I am free today, so here I am back talking to you guys. So I know I'm a little behind on my Big Mouth season rankings, but you know what? I really feel like there's really no rush for me to get to that because I'm gonna always be willing to make that video. I will say this. I'm going to be uploading 2 videos today. They're going to be Degrassi topics. Even though I have 3 Degrassi topics I do want to talk about, and I'm going to tell you what they are. My Big Mouth video, I am going to make that before I drop my 3rd Degrassi topic. Therefore, it could just be up and out there, you know, so I won't keep forgetting about it, and therefore I can also, you know, look at my Big Mouth list and see if I agree with the seasons being in the spots that they're at, and me try to remember why I put those in certain places. Therefore, we get up and going with the Big Mouth season rankings from worst to best, because y'all know I was not happy with the last season, so that is that. So the 3 Degrassi topics I do want to make are, while I did not care for the college years, while I feel like Dead and Gone, the mid-season finale for season 11 for Degrassi, is definitely by far the most underrated season finale from the newer generation of Degrassi. And I want to talk about, you know, what I be seeing all over like TikTok and like Instagram or like Reddit or Twitter, is that fans feel like Degrassi could have done a better job when it came to their gay community, when it came to their LGBTQ. I don't even know if I said that right, or if I said it too fast. Some fans feel like Degrassi could have done better with their gay characters, with the gay storylines, with, you know, that's just how they feel. I want to talk about that because me and my sister did just have a conversation about that, and there are some things I would like to talk about when it comes to their gay characters. You feel me? Even ones I don't care for, like Fiona and Imogen, I'm going to talk about them too. Like every gay Degrassi character I can think of, I want to talk about them and try to, you know, pick them apart, analyze them, what we could have gotten more of, what we could have seen more of. Like, it would have been great. I understand the frustration when it comes to Degrassi's gay characters because maybe they got like, they probably got the appetizer when it came to storylines and plots, which I totally get, you feel me? So we're going to talk about all that. That would be my last topic to talk about because I really want to go deep into it. So what we're going to be talking about today, the first Degrassi topic we're going to be talking about today is why me personally, me as Asia, do not care for Degrassi college years. I've never cared for Degrassi college years. Never, ever. Even when I watched seasons like 6, 7, 8, and 9, I never cared for the college years. I never understood why the writers felt like after we just saw these kids in 4 years of high school, we want to watch them do 4 years of college. Had they done maybe a spinoff where Marco, Ellie, Paige, or like Emma, Manny, and Liberty were all like in the same show but just at college, I would have been fine with that if it was like its own show. Like you could have done like season 1 of Degrassi college years, you feel me? But having Marco, Ellie, and Paige, and Emma, Manny, and Liberty still in the show in college, it just didn't work because it's like we don't care. I feel like Marco, Ellie, and Paige being in college didn't have any good college storylines. Like a lot of people say, oh, that the college storylines for Marco, Ellie, and Paige were way more interesting than Emma, Manny, and Liberty. Neither one of them were interesting. I didn't care for any storylines for none of them. I didn't care about Ellie's relationship with that dude, Jesse. I didn't care. Like, I didn't care. Her and this man had no chemistry, no nothing. You feel me? She wanted to be a journalist. Like, I didn't care about any of that. I didn't care that he slept with Caitlyn. I didn't care about any of that. Like, they really could have given Ellie better storylines. And I feel like I sometimes feel like with Ellie, when I watch the other seasons, that they made her boy crazy, and I hate that. And you know what? I can't really blame the character because it's not the character's fault. I blame the writers, and I blame the writers simply because there's so many storylines they could have given Ellie. They fucked Ellie's character up by the minute they stopped her self-harming storyline. Like I said, I expressed this in her video. I was never a fan of how they gave her that one episode and they wrapped everything up in that one episode. No, that is something that they could have kept going. Like, keep it going. They shouldn't have done everything in that one episode. They should have just shown us what we saw, and then maybe the next episode we could see Paige coming in the bathroom and seeing Ellie cutting herself. You feel me? They could have did something where Ellie might have had a suicide attempt because she was cutting her wrist and she cut the wrong vein. Like, stuff like that is what they could have done. But they were so quick to just, tie the bow on that it fucked up Ellie's character to the point where they made her a pick-me for Craig. She didn't know if she wanted to be with Craig or she wanted to be with Jesse. They got her acting boy crazy. Like, it was just a mess for real, for real. I fuck with Ellie, I really do. But you know what? When it comes to her character, I cannot even blame her. I can't blame her. I can't blame the actress who played Ellie because they were given a wrong hand. It's like if you're playing cards or spades, you were given a wrong hand, so you're not going to win. That's what they did with Ellie's character. They gave her a wrong deck of cards, and she just went along with it. I feel like with Ellie's character, there was so much more they could have done for her character. So much more. Like, when I watched season 8 and I just watched Degrassi Goes to Hollywood and I just see the storyline with her, basically avoiding, like, emotional situations by, if that means burying herself into work or burying herself doing stuff with her friends. Like, that's a good storyline because it's like, it makes sense. She doesn't know how to handle emotional distress. So it makes sense why she was avoiding the shit with her dad, avoiding the shit with her mom, avoiding the shit with Craig. Like, it makes sense. It makes sense why she was avoiding the things with her, thinking that the shit that she was doing was normal. Like, I just wish with Ellie's character, they would have done more. Because I feel like there was so much more they could have done with her character. But tying a bow on it and just saying, fuck it, I've always had an issue with that. Always, always. Now, with Paige, I feel like what they did show us with Paige being in college in season 6, because I'm not sure if she ever dropped out or in season 7 she was just living with Marco and Ellie, because it's so funny that they said they was in college, but yet you never saw them on campus. It's like, are they in college at home? Like, are they taking online classes? Because they never went to campus. Never, ever. The only time you ever saw Paige on campus is when she was going to that college. So I don't know if she flunked out, dropped out, and she was just staying with Marco and Ellie. I mean, yeah, she had the whole story on where she was fucking with that dude who had HIV. You feel me? She had that. But I feel like what they gave Paige in season 6 with the whole anxiety and everything like that, I liked that. Because even though a lot of people say they didn't like the storyline because they feel like that it wasn't realistic, I happen to disagree. I don't think anything about the story they were doing with Paige was not realistic. It was very realistic because a lot of people do suffer from anxiety. And you know what? This is different territory. You're in college, so if you fail an assignment or a test, or you don't take notes, you're responsible for that. It's not like in high school or in middle school where, they let you use the notes and shit for a test. You gotta actually study. You gotta memorize this shit. I feel like the storyline with Paige in season 6, I actually really, really enjoyed that a lot. I did. I enjoyed that a lot. And I'm also going to mention that again when I talk about her and the Degrassi gay character thing, with my Degrassi gay character topic. Pretty much, I'm trying to think what I would name it. I'm going to name it my thoughts on the Degrassi gay storylines, gay characters, such and such, shit like that. I'm not gonna put gay. I'm gonna put the community, shit like that. But I feel like with Paige, I don't know. I never really had a problem with Paige's character. I felt like when the whole sexual assault storyline happened, I feel like she became a really good character. Only thing I would say that I feel like she was kind of in the background a lot, maybe, like, because in season 4, she had a whole storyline with Mr. Odelander, which I really wasn't a fan of, and in season 5, they put her with Alex, which I was not against, but her and Alex's entire relationship, or relationship as they want to call it, it was just a whole fucking mess, you feel me? So that's that. So Paige's kind of storylines, I felt like what they wrote for her in season 6, I absolutely liked. Her struggling with tests and exams and dealing with the anxiety and things like that, and her burning her college dorm on fire and flunking out. That was okay. That was okay for me. Like, I didn't have a problem with that. But I think in season 7 and shit like that, I don't think she was in college. I think she was just living with Marco and Ellie. I think that's how I feel. Marco. Now with Marco, like I said, it's not like Marco and Ellie actually go to campus. I don't know if they do college from home or whatever. I don't know how colleges are run in Canada or run, period, because I've never been to college. But I just feel like, how do they know if they pass in classes or not if they never go to school? Like, we've never, like how Emma and them was on campus, Marco and Ellie and them was never on campus like that. Except for that one episode, I think it's season 7, when you saw Ellie in college and she did that little newspaper about her dorm room roommate and she got kicked out. That was it. That's the only time I can ever remember Ellie being on campus. Other than that, I don't know. Like, when she doing journalist shit, is that on campus for college, or is that like its own personal building? You feel me? So I never really know, because they never really said too much. But with Marco's college storylines, what storylines did he have? He was either all about worrying about Dylan, or whether he was stealing shit from his dad, or gambling, shit like that. I feel like with Marco, it's the same thing. My issues with Marco's character is the same issue I had with Ellie. I feel like with Marco's character, his character in the first beginning of the show, so fucking good. Marco's character to seasons 1 through 5, some of the greatest shit they ever could have written for a gay character. Great. I feel like the moment they put him with Dylan, or you could say when him and Dylan started having issues, they made him so boy obsessed. Whether it was with Dylan, Timmy, or the other nigga he was fooling around with in college, whoever it was, he was just boy obsessed. Like, Marco really felt like he needed to be in a relationship to be happy, and I just feel like that's, so why not do a storyline to where it's like, is Marco suffering from some self-worth? Does he not love himself? Because why do you feel like you need to be in a relationship to be happy? No, it's nothing wrong with being alone. Learn how to be alone. Dylan is miles and miles away. If he told you he did not want to do long distance, that he said once he go to college and Europe, that whatever you and him got going on right now, it needs to end, you need to accept that. Dylan was never shit anyway, Marco, so you should let that nigga go anyway. They should have gave Marco a better love interest. They should have gave him someone who actually does love him, someone who's going to treat him right. I never understood the whole thing with him and Dylan. I never was a fan of Dylan just being his only love interest on the show. I didn't like that. Like, okay, story purposes, okay, I guess you could say it makes sense because, right, Dylan and him, Dylan was already out, so Marco was in the closet. So it's like, okay, I understand, that being his love interest. But, I don't know, I feel like they could have given Marco a different love interest. Not Tim, someone who, the whole thing with him and Tim, I feel like if Tim was older, I feel like him and Marco definitely would have worked. But Tim being a freshman or however old he was, and then Marco finna go to college, they were not going to work, obviously. And poor Tim, he was so cute, but he really was like delusional and like really like with the whole thing with Marco and Dylan, like in season 5, like he really couldn't see that Marco really was using him up until Marco said that he was, and that really sucks for real, for real. I feel like if Tim was older, like junior or like senior in the same grade as Marco or some shit like that, I think they could have worked definitely. But he was a little immature, and you could still tell he was still like a little kid for real, for real. I feel like as Tim was older, him and Marco definitely would have been cute, because I feel like Tim is really everything that I feel like Marco needs in a partner. Someone who is supportive, someone who is sweet, nice, wanted to do the ultimate sacrifice. I just don't think that person was Dylan. I don't think Dylan was the right match for Marco. Dylan was like Miles before Miles. And I don't mean like as for a character or anything like that. I mean like treating his boyfriend like shit, because that's what Miles did in his relationship with Tristan. That's all he did. He always treated Tristan like trash. He cheated on Tristan physically and emotionally with Lola. Got her pregnant, and Tristan said it was okay. Bitch, should have been no coming back from that. No. No, that you cheat on me physically, cheat on me emotionally, and you got this bitch pregnant. Huh? What? And he still wanted to be in a relationship with Miles? No. Like, No. I definitely feel like they could have gave Tristan a better love interest. I don't think him and Miles, I never really understood the whole thing with that, the whole hype. I never really wanted them to be a relationship. I just feel like Miles definitely deserved a better love interest, because Tristan was really hateful towards Miles being bisexual. He never liked that Miles had other options if he didn't want to be with him. He didn't like that. He saw Miles being bisexual as optional. Like, oh, if he don't want to be with me, he don't want to be with a girl or another boy. You feel me? Like, it's crazy that he always put Miles down for his for being bisexual, for real. And I didn't want to get into all that, because I'm gonna mention that when I make my Degrassi video, so we just gonna leave it as there. But as far as Marco's concerned, yeah, I didn't like that after Marco came out and everything like that they made him like. I would I feel like Marco was really a great character in the other seasons, but I feel like when they put him with Dylan, they made him like boy obsessed for real, friend. I wasn't really fucking with that shit. And then with the whole Emma and Minnie and Liberty shit like that, I feel like, me personally, I feel like Emma was the only one who got college storylines for real. That's why I feel like them being in the show, still being in college, to me, was just pointless, because Emma was the only one who got college storylines. You didn't get to see Manny's college storylines at all. Shit, but she didn't even get screen time at that. Neither did Liberty. You feel me? Liberty had that one episode, I think, or it was 2-part episode, I'm not really sure where, she was trying to be in the fucking society girls thing, but it's basically like a racist storyline where it's like basically they want a diversity that, pretty much everyone in the college would get on their asses for why is it just an all white girls society, why is there no black girls, or why isn't any diversity. So they really just had Liberty on there because of a race thing. I don't know. I feel like the college storylines are pointless, and I'm really glad they stopped doing them once they reached like season 10 and up. You feel me? Like, because I just think that they were dumb and pointless. Like, there really wasn't no point of the college storylines to begin with, or for them to keep doing them, in my opinion. So yeah, the college storylines, I never was really interested in the college storylines. Never really cared for them all that much. I feel like when the characters graduated, that should have been that, and it's time to really put the spotlight onto your new characters. The OGs are graduating for a reason. There's no reason for them to still be on the screen after that, if that makes sense. So, yeah. I really need to say too much. I just want to go in here and explain why I don't really like the college years. Never really was a fan of them, and whenever I watch the other seasons, like 6 or 7, or 8 or 9, I skip the college years, because I really don't give a fuck about none of them, for real. So that's just how I feel. As always, it is nice talking to y'all, and catch y'all on my next video.